This is Ken Kesselus, your annual homecoming parade historian. You will have noticed that this August is the first in 73 years that Bastrop has not had a homecoming parade due to the pandemic, of course. So let me take you on a little trip through past parades as experienced by 4 generations of Kesseluses. The first one was in August 1948, 3 weeks after my first birthday. We lived on Main Street, and my babysitter joined in when she saw other strollers come by. Year 2, my dad outfitted my brother Richard and me for the centennial of the California Gold Rush as 49ers. Year 3 had a nursery rhyme theme. Here is Vicki Ravensburg Henry as Little Bo Peep and me as Little Boy Blue. Another year, entries matched songs, as Jim Kershaw sang The Old Gray Mare, She Ain't a What She Used to Be. I rode our horse Patsy, who wore a farmer's hat with holes cut for her ears. In the 6th parade, Mr. Schuyler, owner of the bottling plant, rounded up 6 of us to portray Coke bottles in a classic 6-pack, each wearing a bottle top cap. In high school, I was a volunteer fireman, and our head teen, Lewis Lloyd, cranked up the 1928 Seagraves and let me ride shotgun. After high school, I enjoyed watching my father's antics as a shrine clown, a volunteer firefighter rushing out in his nightgown, in his 1920s vintage swimsuit, and my favorite, as a drum major in a red band uniform with a plume glued to his bald head and a plumber's plunger for a baton. He loved to get in the Austin parades and mess with the Aggie band in that outfit. Later, he was a Ben-Hur shrine greeter. After we returned to Bastrop to live, I started the yacht club, and we bought a cabin cruiser and decorated it for the parade. The next year, we protested Austin's polluting the river with a float featuring a toilet as Austin, with a hose coming out of it into the Colorado River. We styled ourselves effluent Bastropians. In the late 1990s, former Kilgore Rangerette Sue Williams formed 16 of us into a lawn chair brigade and choreographed now classic routines. My daughters Elizabeth and Anna got into the act, riding floats as youngsters. For the 37th annual parade, our church had a vacation Bible school themed Clowns for Christ, and Daddy made up my daughters and others who marched in the parade. Later, Anna and Elizabeth rode or marched in the band as cheerleaders, Queen's Court, and eventually in class reunions. Just before the 40th annual parade, Miniford Trigg and others held a ball at the Opera House and crowned me as Baron de Bastrop. Then they talked me into riding in a convertible with a plastic crown, a plastic sword, and a cheap sash. For the 60th annual parade, Lori Chapin and Jane Sanders appointed me as parade marshal, and Lori drove me behind the American flag honor guard. For the 68th, I rode in our 50th high school reunion float. As mayor, I enjoyed a final ride in the old fire truck with my grandson Nathan in the back. And then I had the pleasure of being chauffeured by my granddaughter Madison in the 69th parade. I hope the virus is over by next year, so I can make one more trip down Main Street in the 74th annual homecoming parade, this time as a survivor of the pandemic.